me?
I mean, am I worth the risk?
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Legs, and I would greatly appreciate it if you want to support me or support the channel. If you would consider liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there and it inspires me to keep creating. We have a ton of content coming to the channel, so please strap in, make sure you have the notification bell on, and make sure you're still subscribed, because I know YouTube be on that funny stuff. I watch YouTube too, just the same way y'all do, and I get unsubscribed from people all the time that I know I didn't unsubscribe to. So make sure you're still subscribed. Last but not least, I also have a channel membership, and I have been getting some new members. So I just want to say a huge thank you. Excuse me. Thank you guys so much. Love you guys. You guys are literally the best. Thank you. If you want to subscribe to the channel membership, the join button is right here next to the subscribe button. Look down here, and it really means the world. It means a lot. It's just to go the extra mile for, again, if you like the content. I eventually do plan to have members only content, but once we build up a little community over there, then I'll take some polls and figure out what y'all want to see as members. So anyway, you don't have to, no obligation, but if you do, it really means the world to me. Today, we are going to be going over Cheat Unfinished Business episodes 4 through 6. Y'all was hitting me up trying to figure out where the next video is, and I got y'all. It is here. Woo! This show has been a roller coaster ride. If for some reason you have not been watching the show and you're watching this video, first off, go check out my episodes 1 through 3 video, and then go watch the show yourself, and then come back and watch this, because it has been a ride. It has been a mess. I cannot believe what I am watching on TV, but let's jump on into it. So we start off on the end of episode 3 with Liam, Olivia, and Paul.
Who you were talking about at the reckoning?
Like, be honest with me and tell me. Just want to know.
Here's a question for you, Lynn. This is a tough one for you. Do you feel as if you are on another level?
They are having their one-on-one session, and it continues on into episode 4. It's a little cliffhanger, so let's jump into it. So Rebecca, first of all, Olivia starts to discuss that Rebecca was not able to get any information out of Liam. Remember, at this point, Liam is still lying. He is still blatantly lying about cheating with this girl, even though Olivia has pulled up receipts. And again, to me, that is simply sociopathic behavior. I really can't handle people like that, where the evidence is right in front of your face and you have the nerve to still try to gaslight somebody. To me, that is so worrisome and that is so scary, and you just don't know what else this man could have been lying about. Now, Olivia knows that if she cheated, hypothetically, that she would 100% remember whether or not she cheated. And that's the other thing. Unless you're sleeping with so many women, but even if that's the case, if you were sleeping with so many women that you couldn't remember if you cheated with this particular girl, that still means you're cheating. There's no world where you don't know if you're cheating or not. So I 100% agree with her in that it doesn't make sense to be sitting here and saying, I don't remember, I don't know. It's like, you would know if you cheated, point blank, period. So Olivia once again reiterates that she did speak to this girl, and Liam is just sitting there like a deer in headlights. I'm like, come on. It's crazy because Liam has an answer for every single thing. So in the confessionals, Liam finally admits that there was one drunken night he had, and that he may have had relations with the girl. He doesn't really remember it that much, but it was a drunken night. So Paul's like, straight up, and I like Paul. I gotta say, the therapist Paul, I really like him. He does cut to the chase. He holds these people accountable. I think he is a really good behavioral coach, let's say, that they have on this show. Because Paul says, how do you not know if you cheated or not? Make it make sense to the rest of the crowd, because how do you not know if you cheated or not? He says that he did it, and at this point he erased it from his memory. Liam, please. Paul is like, okay, let's be for real. You know you have a partner that you can do anything with, and that's why you're pulling this itch. And I'm like, exactly. And this is part of the reason why, for me, Excuse me, my allergies are killing me today, y'all. That's a reason why, for me, there is not a world where I see myself forgiving a cheater, because this is exactly what happens. Once you forgive the cheating, once you forgive the bad behavior, it just simply gets to a point where they think they can get away with anything. And they don't have to tell you the truth. They don't have to be held accountable. And that's exactly true. Olivia is very, very clearly so lost in the sauce. I think it's another reason why having these long-term, this was my high school or college sweetheart relationships where you don't experience anybody else. I also think it is incredibly dangerous because it's all you know. Liam has complete control over her. And that's what I said in the last video, that this man has an absolute hold on her. So whew. Paul continues and says, look, he will give you a crumb. He will give you a crumb and you will eat that crumb up just because you know that he knows that you'll take that. He doesn't have to give you the whole loaf. He just gives you, throws you a few crumbs, like you a little mouth. Eat it up. It doesn't matter. But Paul says, is a crumb enough for you? And woo, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. I really, really like on this show. I know I just said it, but I really like on this show how Paul, he's not sitting here forcing the couples to be together. I feel like when you watch Married at First Sight, for instance, the experts, they just clearly want these marriages to work so they can say that the show is valid. I feel like in this show, it is real, where Paul is like, hey, I don't know if I support y'all's relationships. I don't know if I support y'all as a couple. So anyway, this is a cliffhanger on episode 3. We go on to episode 4. And for Olivia, she says she deserves more than a crumb. She deserves the whole loaf. So Paul does say that the challenge at the end of the day is self-love. It's not that you need to do this or you need to do that or you need to have more boundaries. It's that you need to love who you are. You need to be able to realize that a man like this is not for you. A man that treats you this way is not necessarily for you. So Liam says that again, Olivia is the only person that matters. All he cares about her is her. All he's done is put his life and soul and effort. And I'm like, have you? Have you? Woo, the way that some of these men delude themselves into thinking what they're doing is showing their partner that they love them. So Paul is like, okay, do you feel like you're on another level than Olivia? Like, do you feel like you're kind of up here? And again, it's the power dynamic of it all. He declines. He says that he actually feels that he puts Olivia on a pedestal. And Paul's like, but in practice, you may think you're doing that, but in practice, that is clearly not happening. So for Liam, he does realize that he needs to listen to Olivia. He needs to be able to hear her out. He needs to help her with these insecurities in terms of giving that reassurance and showing her that he is actually there for her. And they do walk away from this seemingly with a new understanding, but Olivia does say that she still needs time. For me, I just don't know. I don't know what would make you want to be with somebody who so vehemently lies to you like this. And I just don't know how you could ever rebuild the trust. I get it. I know she's been with this man for 10 years. It's seemingly her only love, her only person, but man, there needs to be some breaking off of this whole thing because it is just so toxic to watch. And men like Liam, they really scare me. They really, really scare me with the sociopathic lying tendencies. So back home, Olivia lets the girls know that Liam finally admitted, and the girls are like, okay, well, remember he lied to you. He gave you an ultimatum. Remember everything he did to you. And again, I really like the accountability on this show. I like that it's not just sugar-coated because agreed, he admitted it. His way of admitting it was being like, oh, if you have the evidence, then I guess I'll admit it. What do you mean? What do you mean? That is not admitting it. Down, defeated that you thought you were gonna lie to her and she was gonna let it go and that it didn't work. So now you have to be like, well, if she has the evidence. What do you mean if she has the evidence? It either happened or it didn't, Liam. Liam says that he realized that all he needed to do was own up to his wrongs. He thought that it wasn't factual, but it was. And I'm like, what do you mean you thought it wasn't factual? Not one person in this villa is buying the nonsense that you're spewing, Liam. Enough is enough. But we go on to the reckoning room. Okay, it's been a little minute, but these couples, they need to come together. They go home, they have their little scenes, but it is time to decide, do we still want to be together? Let's talk a little bit about how these one-on-ones went and where we are going from here. So first couple that we have is Dan and Rebecca. Now,
I want to see hands now on who said I wasn't sincere and I had no emotion in my last time we were in here.
you know, Dan, he's a little bit salty because he did end up hearing that everybody felt that his apology to Rebecca was a bit disingenuous. So he's like, raise your hand right now. Raise your hand right now if you were one of the people that said that I was disingenuous. And a couple of people do chime in and say that it sounded like he was putting on a speech. It didn't sound genuine. I'm not gonna lie, it did not sound genuine. I think that when somebody says all the right things, especially after they went so hard to defend the other side, and then all of a sudden they've changed their tune completely and they have this pre-rehearsed speech, it doesn't sound genuine. That's not to say it isn't, but it doesn't sound genuine. Now for him, he says Rebecca does not know him to be a very emotional person, so he really, really wanted to get these feelings out. He really wants to make it work. He really wants to be with her. But we see later on in the episode that Dan seems to have his priorities kind of scattered around, okay? So is it true that Dan wants to make it work with Rebecca, or does Dan want to look like the good guy? Only time will tell. Steph and Andre. For Steph, she basically says she is completely willing to forgive Andre if he's willing to do the work and change it. He knows that all he wants is her. Again, Steph, I don't know. There was just absolutely no thought process with Steph. It seems like she was ready and willing to jump back into this entire thing, which is crazy to me that this man admitted to you that he slept with the same girl 3 times. And then prior to that, she was texting his phone. And you don't have more questions about that? And I found it weird that Steph was the one that was like, it was my fault. I ran out too fast. And I'm like, girl, you don't have more questions about this? Again, ladies, I want us to love ourselves so bad. I really do, because come on. You mean to tell me he slept with this girl 3 times? He had basically a full-blown relationship with whoever this woman is. And you're just willing to believe him at face value? Did you guys even talk about what it is in the relationship that made him feel that he needed to do that? And have you thought about ways that you're actually going to fix those things? Okay, next. Lucia and Connor.
You've shown me a very vulnerable side.
So Lucia brings up about how Connor lied during his one-on-one with one of the other girls, that he said basically that they haven't seen each other in 5 years. Connor says, no, that's not what I said. I said that we saw each other here and there. It has been 5 years since we've been together. And I'm like, Connor, you're kind of getting into semantics. And for the clip we saw, he said that they hadn't seen each other in 5 years. So I don't know if there was more to the conversation or not, but that's what he said. Now, why Lucia? I kind of get why Lucia is so hung up on that, because it feels like Connor's willing to kind of hide the fact that they had something on and off. But same vein, Lucia, it's not giving that he's really all in. It's definitely giving that you are trying to pull him into being all in. And again, you can't force a man to want to be with you. You can't force a man to want to commit to you. So he says he's 100% all in. He's ready for it. He's ready to do the work. It's giving performance. It's giving performance. I'm sorry. He says that to be all in, though, she has to let go of the past. And again, I hate how these men do this. I hate how they act like, oh, it's your resentment that's causing it to not be a thing. And again, that's why I question the ethics and morality of getting back with a cheater. I would never, because I know I'm the kind of person that would hold on to it. I know I'm the kind of person that cannot get over that. It's not to say that I'm going to be angry at that person every day of my life, but I know that I would have a really broken breach of trust. If I saw any of those behaviors, it would be hard for me. So I do agree, and I said this in my last video, that to some level, yeah, if you're going to get back with a cheater, you have to be willing to literally let go of it, never bring it up. Once you hash it out and actually talk through everything, talk through the internalized feelings, talk through what it is that's actually going to bring you guys to that place where you can trust each other again, you do have to let it it go. But that's the problem, is that I think a lot of these men want to simply be able to be like, sorry, and then expect that the girl is just going to be like, okay. And I don't really think that that's the process to get over a cheater, in my personal opinion. Now, she does feel that the why of the cheating has really gotten in her way, but she now knows. She says after this whole thing, she does understand, and now she feels that she can leave that in the past. All right, Lucia, we'll see. So on to Amberly. She likes, how much Kieran actually loves her, but neither learned anything negative on the outing. They both kind of are in a place where they realize that they do like each other, and they both seemingly want to continue. Paul realizes that there was no scorekeeping in this conversation, and that it seems like they're making positive progress, and there's not a whole lot to say about Amberly and Kieran. So Rebecca.
I was saying to Olivia, like, I'm struggling to move on from the cheating, basically.
Rebecca did tell Olivia how much trouble she had actually getting any information from Liam about the cheating. And again, it's not that Liam just lies to Olivia. Liam clearly just lies to everybody and puts on this performance art that is not very believable. So Paul tells Biggs that he has to make leaps because Rebecca is ready to leave. Okay, Rebecca is very turned off. And again, as I said, Rebecca seemingly has a lot of resentment from Biggs. It is really, really clear that she is kind of just has the ick. She's not very interested in him. And we see Rebecca sort of explore that a little bit. Keep watching. So Biggs says it's not going to be easy, but he does feel that they can get through things and they will work it out. And Paul congratulates Biggs for being emotive, sincere, for really showing how much he loves Rebecca and talking about how much Rebecca means to him. Because remember, Biggs did say that he did not get the skills to actually come forward and give those emotions. So now he's trying a lot more, but again, is Rebecca gonna receive it? Stay tuned. So Craig got a sense of security from Sean that Jazz wants him as much as he wants her. He doesn't always get that reassurance from Jazz, so it was nice to hear that. Now Jazz realizes that she needs to acknowledge how much she actually wants Craig. And again, Craig claims he really wants Jazz. Is that true? Keep watching. So Sean and Tegan.
Craig, how I feel about Tegan, and I love her to the moon and back sort of thing. Yeah, I really do.
I do. I won't be here.
Okay, so you like him.
Sean is all in, but Tegan feels that there is no action behind it, so she is 100 steps behind everyone else. Tegan is ironclad, baby. She has an iron gate up. Tegan, she does not want to even hear a word Sean has to say. I'm going to be honest, I questioned a lot why Tegan is here. Because again, I totally understand not being ready to forgive the man that cheated on you. But it doesn't even seem that Tegan is a little bit open-minded to hearing what Sean has to say. And to me, again, it just doesn't make for actually making progress in an experiment like this. So Jazz chimes in and is like, well, Sean, he's really done a lot. He's really tried to tell you how much he cares. He's tried to change a lot of things. And there's no real he can't express anything for Tegan does not really express anything related to that. And I thought, for me, I'm like, Jazz girl, you got your own relationship. Why are you so up in their stuff? We see Jazz a lot in these next few episodes being Sean's mouthpiece. Oh, girl, do you want him? Why are you up in their business so much? Stay out of it. Now, Sean does say that he gets really shy when it comes to this stuff, and it's hard for him to express these feelings. So Paul chimes in and says that he doesn't feel that Tegan even likes Sean. And again, it is very clear that Tegan doesn't like Sean. Every time Sean goes to say, I did, she's like, no. You made me feel this way. And again, I get it. I understand feeling angry. But if this is going to be an experiment where both of you guys on each side are trying to slowly work towards forgiveness, this is not the way to do it, girl. So she claims that she does, but she has to get to know him again. And I'm like, are you open to that, Tegan? Are you open to getting to know him again? So we get to Liam. Basically, he says that he learned that he needs to man up and admit his mistake.
What? Sorry, what happened?
Oh,
That he slept with someone else.
the hardest part for me is there's been a drastic power imbalance.
And the host actually asks him to admit, hey, what did you admit to Olivia? Let us all know. So Liam does admit that he actually did do it. And Jazz, of course, has to pipe in again saying, really? What did you do? Blah, 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 blah. Jazz is up in everybody's business. I ain't gonna hold you. She is up in everyone's business. And Craig actually pipes in and is like, yo, like, be quiet. Like, stop. Like, you're doing too much. Why are you in everyone else's business? And I agree. I feel like Jazz is everybody's sounding board and what is going on. So Paul is like, okay, can you just admit that you lied? Because it's still the way that Liam is saying it. He's not being like, I lied and I actually did cheat, coming out right. He's like, I did it. And everyone's kind of like, what did you do? So Olivia says, look, I know that I need to set some boundaries. And she does ask Liam if he will make her a priority. And I'm like, Olivia, why are you still asking these kind of questions? Why are you still begging this man to make you a priority? If you need to beg your man to make you a priority more than once, maybe it's time to let it go. Let it go. Cue the Frozen song. Like, come on, girl. What are we doing? So Liam starts to talk in circles again, blah, blah, blah. Olivia's like, will you make me a priority? Because he starts and he says, of course. And I'm like, yeah, it doesn't seem like y'all are going nowhere. Liam is always talking in circles. He never directly addresses a question. It is crazy. But that is the end of the reckoning room. As of right now, everybody is still trying. It is definitely very clear that some couples are on thin ice. Tegan and Sean, Olivia and Liam, Rebecca and Biggs, even Craig and Jazz, they are definitely on thin ice after this. And will they, start to do something to figure that stuff out? Only time will tell. So anyways, they find out that they're going to have their first group coaching session and they go back home. So back home, they are discussing Liam admitting that he did actually cheat. They talk about Jazz coming at Liam a lot and how it was too much. And again, I agree, girl. It is not your place to be all up in these people's relationships. Nobody asked you to be the relationship counselor. Jazz and Dan, they swear that they are the the villa relationship counselors. Let's put it that way. Now, Craig says that it makes it awkward between he and Liam that Jazz had to come in that way because, they live in the same house. They're cool with one another. So why did she have to do all of that? Jazz says, no matter what, no man will ever tell her whether or not she could speak. And I agree that it is not that, yes, a man should not be controlling or silencing you. But I don't know that I think that that was what happened. I think it was very clear that Craig could see that Jazz was doing a little bit too much being in people's business, and he was just trying to get her to kind of level out a little bit. I don't really think it's like that. So, okay. Next morning, Craig and Rebecca, they start to talk and they feel that Jazz is getting a little bit too much into everyone's situations.
I just feel like Jazz in the reckoning room was getting too involved in other people's situations, putting me in a position where I've got to...
And sit there with me busy hair.
You always look beautiful, babe.
Oh.
I just don't tell you every day.
Maybe it's your shows.
And it is really making it awkward having to live with some of the people in there. Now, Craig admits that he did not come here for anyone specifically, but Rebecca has blown him away. You came to the villa to prove that you are faithful and you're falling for another woman. What are you going to do? What are you going to do? Because here's the thing, right? It's not the fact that you think another woman is attractive and you like her personality. It's how do you handle that? As I've said in the last video, you're not going to just magically not find any other woman attractive because you're in a relationship, but it's being able to have the self-control to not go too far. So what does that look like? What does that look like, Craig? Does Rebecca feel the same way? So they have their group coaching session. So each couple has to come up to the front of the class and do a specific activity that Paul tailored specifically for them. Our first couple to come up is Jazz and Craig.
When you two sat down, you didn't even acknowledge each other. And I will say that you two are extraordinary.
Off rip, they do not talk to each other. Paul points that out. What's going on? Y'all ain't even looking at each other. You didn't say hi to each other. What is happening? So they have to write down qualities that they like about one another. Craig says that he loves her sense of humor. He's never told her that. So Jazz, she's a little bit tickled pink that he likes her. Now Jazz says she likes his generosity, the gifts that he always gives. I'm like, okay, all right, generosity, but then you use generosity to mean gifts. Okay. Thought the answer was okay. He says his favorite physical quality is her smile, and hers is his 8-pack. So they have a fight. Even though they had a fight, they remembered why they were here and that they're so in love. And it seems that the little fight that they had last night is kind of off the table now, and they are feeling a bit better about one another. So some of the other couples, they have to ask questions about each other. We'll have a little montage here.
Liam and Olivia. Dan and Rebecca.
It's not too much. Steph and Andre, Kieran, Amberly, those couples, they just had to answer questions about each other rapid fire. So we get to Liam and Rebecca. They have to do this activity where Liam and Olivia, sorry. They have to do this activity where they are back to back.
I feel like, we've kind of moved forward a little bit.
But well done, well done.
I used to think that I was wearing my heart on my sleeve, but until I actually come in.
And they basically just have to stand there and kind of feel each other. Now, for Olivia, she does realize that she felt very, very safe and secure when they were touching backs. And that's the first time in a while that they have felt this way. Liam realizes that he doesn't wear his heart on his sleeve the way that he used to, and that he really does need to become a bit more vulnerable with her. Yeah, maybe honesty is the right way to go. So Lucia and Connor, they have to complete each other's sentences.
Lucia, I wouldn't say I'm in love.
Now, Lucia's biggest fear about reconciliation is his untruthfulness. And again, Connor, he's done a lot of saying, I want this, I want this, I want this, but where is the heart in it, in my opinion? Connor feels a spark for Lucia. Now, Lucia asks Connor if he loves her. He says he has love for her, but he's not in love. Paul helps him realize that he doesn't really love her, but he cares for her, because Paul's like, so you love her, but you don't necessarily care for her, if that makes sense. Or, you care for her, but you're not necessarily in love. Lucia starts to cry, and I'm like, girl, I don't know what to tell you. This man has told you so many times that he's not all in this. I feel like this is not the first time in this show that he has not, he's basically been like, yeah, I'm here to see if anything is here. So she starts to cry again, and I'm like, girl. Now, the girls are whispering that they really don't see it working. They're off on the sidelines like, do you see this working? I don't think so. Paul points out that the physical attraction might be there, but at this point, nothing else. So Sean and Tegan, they have to use the talking ball, because as we know, the two of them, they can never have a conversation without, particularly Tegan, interrupting and just, you made me feel terrible. And it's a little much.
Every time we go in, we're taking a step back rather than sorting everything out, and then we can move forward.
You want it, right?
Yeah. To be able to...
So they have the ball. Whoever has the ball can talk. The other one has to be quiet. So Sean says that he feels nervous about everything. Tegan says that she wants him to be genuine. He says it is hard for him to get emotional, but he is sorry and he really cares for her. He says he's not as emotional as others in the group. And for her, Tegan's like, well, I don't typically hear this. I don't typically hear Sean get to this point. Am I saying that I believe that Sean deserves ultimate forgiveness? I am not, but I think that Tegan is still very closed off. I don't think Tegan is at a spot where she's ready to even consider the fact that Sean might be sorry or apologetic or remorseful. I think Tegan is still in the stage where she's angry and she wants other people to feel that anger with her for validation, and that's fine. But I feel like when you're in that stage, you're not ready to consider taking the person back yet. And again, as Paul said, it's not even giving that you like this man, which you don't have to. Why would you need to like a man that cheated on you? And lastly, Biggs and Rebecca, they have to hold hands and not break eye contact.
For nearly 2 years and then single and acting like friends for 3 years just goes to show like you've got no.
Now, Rebecca asks if she's in love with Rebecca asks him, are you in love with me or are you in love with what we had at the start? Biggs says, I think I'm in love with what we had at the start. So Paul notices that Rebecca is having a really, really hard time looking at Biggs, and she says straight up that she is very uncomfortable right now. And again, Rebecca is another one where it's very clear that she's not ready to fully forgive. And again, I think in Rebecca's case, it makes a little more sense. She officially found out here at the retreat that he cheated. So that is a really short period of time to just start forgiving in that way. But it's very clear that she doesn't even want to look at him. She is disgusted with him. She's very, very resentful. So for Rebecca, she says it does disgust her that he did this for 3 years and he was living a double life and he wasn't who she thought he was. And that basically, yeah, again, he wasn't being faithful. He was not being who he said he was. And she's overall, the resentment is heavy. So Rebecca is another one where, again, what do you do with that resentment? Do you leave the retreat? Do you decide it doesn't work? Or do you look elsewhere? Wink, wink. All right. So we find out at the end of this experiment that everybody is going to be living together now. They knock that wall on down. In the villa, and lo and behold, y'all were only separated by one little wall, and now it's one big room. So here we go. Episode 5, everyone's living together. We got everyone in the backyard. Biggs immediately asked to pull Rebecca for a chat.
I feel so free. Like now, I feel like we could just chill.
No, just because I'm looking at you doesn't mean that everything's fine.
He feels that they can get through this. And again, Biggs, he is feeling real optimistic. He's feeling like they are making progress, while Rebecca, those eyes are looking over here. They looking over there. So Jazz and Craig, they are all over each other. They're saying, I love you. They're making out with one another. And everybody's watching like, okay, all right now, you two, get a room. Now, Tegan is not going to share a bed with Sean. For her, she says she's not going to immediately go back to how things used to be. She needs to see some effort in order to get to that place. Okay, Tegan, we know you don't like Sean. Connor asks Lucia if she's going to sleep in his bed, and Lucia does mention boundaries. Y'all just had a tough reckoning room, and it's not giving, Connor's asking that, but it's not giving that Connor likes her. It's giving sexual preferences, as was already said. So that's good that Lucia wanted to have some boundaries. Don't just immediately jump to that man's bed. Now, Craig and Rebecca, they are talking. And remember, these two, they are starting to get real close. Remember, Craig said that Rebecca's amazing. And, even though he came in here to fix things with Jazz, he's not sure about Rebecca. Does Rebecca feel the same way? So Rebecca says that she sees Biggs very friendly right now. There's not really a lot of romantic connection there. Craig says he feels the same way about that. Now, Craig is unsure about being able to sleep with Jazz because he's starting to feel for Rebecca, and he feels guilty about sleeping with Jazz in the same bed, knowing that he's thinking about another woman. So for Rebecca, she lets us know in the confessional that she was not expected to come to this retreat to try to work things out with her ex and actually fall for somebody else. So in case you haven't been following, Craig and Rebecca, they have a little flirt-mance going on. They have a little something going on. As I said, they came to a retreat to work it out with the cheating exes, and now they're looking at each other. Ooh, you can't make it up on these shows. So Andre and Steph, Liam and Olivia, these two couples, they are very all over each other. Lots of kissing, lots of making out, lots of hugging. Everything's in the past. For Andre, he says he is ready to move forward. He's really ready to move past everything and just make it work with her. Andre, that's all he's been saying every day. I just want to make it work. I just want to make it work. I just want to make it work. It's crazy that you got a free pass to cheat as much as you want, and then when you decide it ain't all that, you could come back, and then Steph is just like, okay, ciao. So Tegan and Rebecca.
It's only right that she tells Sean what she needs. And if you know, he can't digest that and work with her.
Tegan is once again telling Rebecca that she's not feeling any change in Sean. You know, give him a chance. Like, he is trying his hardest. And, you know, Jazz is the ringleader of all of that. Now, the girls do advise Sean to pull Tegan as well about the fact that it is very clear that she doesn't really want to be open to him. The fact that he's trying and she's not really into it. So he does advise they do advise him to talk to her because it just doesn't make any sense. So Biggs and Rebecca. Biggs is in full, I'm going to win you back mode. I am going to get you back no matter what I do. Rebecca really felt like cheating was not something that would ever happen in their relationship. She lets Biggs know that. She's like, look, I never ever pegged you as a liar. I never ever pegged you as a cheater. Again, I left you because of my stuff. I didn't leave you because I thought you were cheating. So he never addressed how rough of a time he was having during the relationship, and Rebecca does say that she was as well. So it's really shocking, I guess, for her to find out that they were both having a super rough time. Now for Biggs, he said the entire time that he was cheating, he had her in mind. And it's like, okay, you had her in mind, but you still cheated. No, Biggs, stop it, okay? I hate when they try to say stuff like that. Well, I thought of you the whole time. You were always on my mind. So that's even worse then. It's even worse that I was on your mind the whole time and you continue to go forward. But okay. Now, he tells her he loves her and she knows that. But she doesn't feel that she's getting over it anytime soon. So even though Biggs is on the, I love you, you're everything to me, Rebecca's more like, okay, I just don't know that I'm gonna get there. He says he is never giving up though, and he will do anything in his power to get her back. So once again, Biggs is full throttle while Rebecca is fully on to somebody else. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. So Sean finally pulls Tegan for that chat, and he basically goes into the fact that he feels like he doesn't really know how to talk properly or express his feelings properly. And he even asks Tegan, you know, do you even love me? Do you even like me, basically? Tegan says she's not really sure of how she's feeling yet. She's not really sure of where her emotions are. Again, very clear that Tegan is not really open to softening up right now in this situation and giving Sean any form of a chance. Now, Sean's like, so, okay, what is the purpose of being here then? If you don't know how you feel about me, you're not really interested in me, what is the purpose? Tegan starts to say that she really wants to go through the process and see if they can make it there. And Sean asks again, do you like me? Do you love me? Now, Tegan says that she is not in love with Sean, basically. So Sean says, you know what? I'm gonna go home.
Love me. She doesn't know whether she likes me or not.
Oh.
She doesn't give a shit. She's only bothered about herself, seriously.
It's actually wants a drama.
I don't understand Tegan.
Then I'm just gonna leave. I don't really want to be here. If that's the case, what is the point? You don't love me, you don't like me, you're not open to me, you're not sure how you feel about me. And again, I agree with Sean, to be honest. I agree. There's no real reason to be here when it's clear that Tegan is not in a headspace for forgiveness. And maybe you are being genuine, maybe you're not, who knows? But at the end of the day, it takes two of you guys to be open to this process. And if she's not open to the process, there is no point. So he says that he is going to leave. Sean starts to tell the guys that he is going home, and Andre reminds him that she has been cheated on, so he's gonna have to be the one to put the extra work in. Now Sean says that he wanted to marry Tegan, he wanted to get a house with her, he really wanted to do all of the life things, but at this point it doesn't even seem like they're going to get past this situation. And I'm like, yeah, Sean, too dang bad. All those fantasies that you had have been squashed to the trash, and whatever it is, whether it is that Tegan is just a person that holds a grudge, or whether it is something that really traumatized her and she's just not ready, it's clear that you guys are not at that point yet. So Sean does go up to everyone and tell them that he's going home, blah, 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 blah. But Jazz and Liam, they're so on Sean's side. Jazz, I don't know. Jazz is getting on my nerves. Liam tells her to kind of pull her and try to talk to her and just be open and vulnerable and take accountability for everything. Jazz is like, I don't get it. I don't understand why she's so rigid about everything. And Jazz proceeds to go talk to I was gonna say Amberly. Jazz proceeds to go talk to Tegan a little bit later on, and they get into a little thing too. So Kieran and Amberly, after they broke up, Kieran left for America for work. So Kieran basically had this group of girls that he was friends with, and he lied to Amberly saying that he never talked to any girl.
You told me you wasn't.
But that was before this. This is where we've become honest.
Oh, wow. So
He wasn't around anyone, but it's very clear that he was in this friend group that was a mixed co-ed. That's the word I'm looking for. A co-ed friend group. And Amberly gets upset because she feels like Kieran is lying again. It's really, really hard for her to think that Kieran could be around women without wanting to get with them. And this is the first time they've really talked about this since Kieran left for America. They only had one brief conversation right before the show started. But at this point, Amberly is just having a hard time coming to terms with the fact that Kieran is around women. And again, this is the problem with trying to get back with someone that cheated on you. It is possible to have platonic friendships with the opposite sex, but when you've been cheated on, it's really hard to imagine that your partner is able to have those friendships and not go too far with it all. So again, I think this couple seems at least a little bit more open to understanding each other and softening up and hearing what the other has to say. But I think that is one of the big hurdles to get over when you've been cheated on. Kieran does explain that it is not like that. He never did anything with any of those women. He was never interested in them like that, and that it is just purely platonic. But obviously, she has to come around. Amberly, she does go away to cry. So Jazz and Tegan, everyone's in the room, and Jazz is letting Tegan know that she really hurt Sean's feelings. Tegan says, well, he hurt mine. Jazz is like, okay, but it's not tit for tat. And it's like, I agree with that. I do think that it is not tit for tat. And I think, again, Tegan, I've already said it a million times, Tegan is still in a certain headspace that is not, it's just not going to work for trying to rekindle something with someone who cheated on you. So Tegan is like, okay, he asked a question and he didn't like the answer, so he walked away like a child, talking about when she said that she wasn't in love with him. She's like, he asked me, I gave him the answer, and then he didn't like it, so he ran away and threw a tantrum. Now Jazz is like, this is childish. Tegan chimes in and says, mind your business, basically. She's like, this is not your relationship. Like, I don't need you to come over here and tell me what I should do with my relationship. And I agree. Jazz, go catch your man Craig flirting with Rebecca. Your man is actively flirting with another woman. So leave Tegan alone. I agree with that. Leave Tegan alone and go get your man, because he is actively flirting with someone else while telling you he is ready to be with you and work it out with you. Okay. So it is bedtime. And of note, Steph and Andre, they sleep together. This is the first time in 2 years that they have shared a bed. Liam and Olivia are cuddling. Everyone is noticing how Rebecca and Craig are getting along. Okay. The two of them are very, very flirty. And everyone in the house is definitely starting to pick up on what is going on. Now, Rebecca and Biggs, they sleep separately. Craig and Jazz also sleep separately. Jazz wishes that she and Craig slept together, as he's literally in the other room flirting with Rebecca. Now, that's what I'm saying, Jazz. Why are you so up in people's relationship and you don't even see what your man is up to? Make it make sense, sis. Sean and Tegan and Amberly and Kieran also sleep separately. So some of these couples are back to how it used to be. Other of the couples are definitely implementing boundaries, and some of these couples are just completely onto someone new. Next morning, Dan and Rebecca, they slept together, and she just says, baby, I'm horny and I want to F. Like, she was literally like, I know that he should be in the doghouse, but I really wanted to have sex. And I'm like, you know what, Rebecca? Tell us, girl. So Sean says that he wants to leave. He is still at the point where he is not feeling better about things. He really, really, really is just like, why am I here? What is the point? And again, I agree. Sean and Tegan, go home. Go home. This is not for you. This is not for y'all. This is not for y'all. You're not going to make it. It is what it is. Connor and Lucia, they're like, hey, please at least just give a talk to Tegan. At least just talk with her. But Tegan and Sean, they do end up meeting with Paul.
If you both were equals.
No.
I'm clever.
She's a lot more intelligent than what I am. I know you want to hear it. You can see it with everyone else that there's love between them both.
So Paul says that he is an advocate of Sean and Tegan as separate people, but he's not necessarily sure that he is an advocate of their relationship. So neither one of them felt that they were equals in their last relationship. They revealed that Tegan was the one that was a little bit smarter, like more emotionally intelligent, maybe more well-spoken. So for Sean, he felt like he was being emasculated, belittled. He felt really, really stupid whenever he would try to communicate with her. And you could definitely see that. You could definitely still tell that Tegan tries to shut Paul down quite a bit. And Paul just kind of, clams up like a little mouse. So because of that imbalance, it just became really challenging for him when he wanted to communicate. He would get really shy. He felt really stupid. So Paul lets Tegan know that when Sean is in fight or flight mode, he's not going to be a good communicator. AKA, when you try to shut him down, when you try to come at him, he's not going to communicate well because he's defensive, essentially. Sean chimes in and says that he does love her. He's only here for her. The reason why he came here is for her. So if she can't see that, what is the point? Tegan once again says that she needs to see certain things. She needs to hear certain things in order for that to happen. I'm like, Tegan, girl, just let it go. Just let it go. You want to boop, 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 boop this man down. And it's not going to have, it isn't what it, I don't know, girl. It is what it is. Nobody's on your side. The people in the house think you're being a jerk. You clearly don't want to work out with Sean. Child, these two are annoying me. Get these two off my TV. Get Sean and Tegan off my TV. So Amanda, the host, she shows up to the villa and lets them know that they are going to be meeting with their friends and their families. The first people to go today are going to be Steph and Andre and Amberly and Kieran. So for Steph, she is a little bit worried because her sister is a hothead. She and Andre do not have the best relationship and she will tell it like it is. She's going to let Andre know how she feels. So let's jump into it. So Steph's sister and Andre's friend, we see them at the table first, and Steph's sister is basically like, look, let me get the tea from Steph, and then you can kind of defend Andre. Let Steph talk first. So they get over there, and basically, Andre off rip, he admits that he cheated.
We all know Steph saw messages years ago.
Just the text messages?
It was text messages, it was physical, but...
He cheated once. I mean, he said he did it 3 times.
Steph's sister is immediately skeptical and is like, okay, you cheated and you were texting the girl, you met up with the girl, you had to, in order to meet up with her, you had to be texting her for a while, and you slept with this girl 3 times. So how are we supposed to trust that you're not going to do that again? Andre essentially says, my word is my bond. You have to trust and believe that I'm going to do it. Why does Andre's friend chime in and say, okay, he slept with the girl 3 times, but that essentially cancels out 1 time? What does that even mean? I was like, what do you mean it cancels out 1 time? No, it doesn't. But Steph's sister is like, okay, to me, I don't understand how you're not a little bit more worried to Steph, because he slept with the same girl 3 times. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. They clearly had to have some kind of relationship. They clearly had to have some kind of bond. And I do agree with that. Because it's one thing if you texted a girl, it's a one-night stand, you met her on Tinder or something, it's a one-night stand and it's over. That is still cheating, but that's very different than a girl that you clearly had a texting relationship or an emotional relationship with. And then you met with her 3 different times to get intimate. To me, it just doesn't really make sense that doesn't make sense. And so I understood where the sister was coming from. Now, Steph says that she has truly forgiven Andre 100%, no matter what. He's given no indicators here in the house that she does not need to trust him. But I was really on the side of where the sister was at, where it's like, you should probably open your eyes. Steph is probably the person that we saw have the least pushback, the absolute least pushback. It doesn't even seem like Steph wants to ask deeper questions to figure out where they were at. It just doesn't. It seems like Steph would rather just push it all to the side and say, you know what? I won anyways. And I very, very much worry about it. But According to Steph, she says that he has given her no reason to believe that this will happen again, and he's been 100% all in on her the entire time. As I said, I am still skeptical in the same way that the sister is, but only time will tell where these two will go. Back home, some of the other couples are canoodling and doing their thing. Liam's telling Olivia he looks beautiful. Jazz is being very flirty with Craig, and they actually start to talk about Rebecca's body. She's like, I love Rebecca's body.
It seems cool.
I'm not convinced them two and like actually no.
Oh my God, she is so like cute. And I just thought it was weird that they're having this conversation about Rebecca's body as Craig is actually looking at Rebecca's body. This is what I mean, girl. You need to be aware of what's going on with your man. Now, Jazz does say she's not really that close with Rebecca. She doesn't really know her, but she has definitely kind of noticed a little bit that there's a little bit of flirtiness there with Craig. Now, Craig's taking the angle that it's all on Rebecca and that it's not on him. Okay, so Rebecca then joins Craig and Dan on the couches a little later, and Dan's like, I'm straight third wheeling. Rebecca,
No, you can look better without makeup. I told you that.
And look at him for compliments, anyway.
Yeah, he is when someone else is not around.
Rebecca's like, like, Craig's like, what you mean, third wheeling? Rebecca says that she knows that things are really, really flirty with Craig, and she doesn't like being stuck in this limbo where it's very clear that something is there, but they're just ignoring the elephant in the room. Dan realizes in the confessional that they like each other, but they just don't want to say it out loud. And I think this sparks Rebecca wanting to be like, you know what? I don't really like Biggs. Rebecca, at this point, she is completely off Biggs. She's not even interested in him. She has her eyes on Craig. And I think it is crazy work to be having your eyes on another woman's man when you guys are on a show for cheating and you're trying to get him to cheat. Baby. Sean and Tegan are still going back and forth on whether or not they're making progress.
I feel like there's a wall thicker than Fort Knox there, and I just can't get through it.
Sean.
And this is why we're talking today, to get to know each other.
But we're not getting anywhere.
I'm trying my best with you.
But you're not.
No, this is the thing.
He claims he's really trying. Tegan doesn't see it. I'm like, Sean, give it up. Give it up. She doesn't care. She doesn't like you. So Amberly and Kieran, he apologizes about hanging out with female friends. She is still really, really paranoid if something is going on there, but he promises that he was not with any of these girls. Now, she worries that she will never fully be able to trust him again, but she is willing to put in the work and the effort to see if they can get to that point. All right. I mean, as I said, I think the fact is they have more openness than some of the other couples to get there. But I think this is a normal sort of depiction of how the trust issues work when you're cheated on in a relationship. This is very normal that it's going to be tough to see him around other women, because if he's around another woman, what has he done in the past? Sleep with them. So I think the openness is interesting, and I want to see if they can get to those building blocks and make it to a further point. So Rebecca is talking with some of the girls. She's talking with Steph and Tegan, and she is telling them at this point she is looking past her relationship with Biggs.
Any sort of way that you can, like, you know, because he really does like you, like, a lot. Like,
he does, but it's got to be mutual.
At this point, she does not see any romance there. She just does not see it going anywhere. And remember, she got her eyes on Craig. And now she's telling everybody that she is fully done with Biggs, except Biggs. It's crazy work. It's crazy work. You are so mad at this man for cheating on you, but what are you doing since you're cheating, right? Are you guys technically together in this show? I don't know. It don't make no sense. And even worse so, you are going for another woman's man in this villa. This man who is trying to prove to his woman that he's not a cheater, and you're trying to coerce him away. And there's something else I want to say. And if you know, you know. Okay? If you know what I'm trying to say, you know what I'm trying to say. But there's a third thing I want to say that I'm not going to say out loud. But if you know, you know. Because it's kind of crazy work that you're trying to take this woman's man. I'll leave it there. So the girls do really try to tell Rebecca that Biggs is really sweet. He is really trying. He is really putting an effort in. Again, the girls, they're everybody's biggest advocates. They love Sean and they love Biggs. But she says she does not want things to get messy because she does not know where things stand with she and Craig. So Amberly and Kieran, they go over to Kieran's friend and Amberly's mom.
We've owned our stuff, hands up, admitted everything, laid all of our cards down.
I don't know what some of that stuff is. I know.
Not really much happens in this talk. Basically, Kieran says that he realized by being in this retreat with everyone who's been cheated on, including Amberly, that it has really hit him hard just how much it actually affected her. And he hates that it took him going through this experience to actually change his ways. But now that he knows he is 100% all in. He has no intentions to treat Amberly the wrong way. And overall, he just wants to move forward. Again, it seems like the two of them, yes, there's definitely trust issues still there, but it seems that they are both still open to the idea of moving forward with one another. So not a whole lot to say. Back to the villa, Sean and Tegan.
You're not interested in me.
Maybe I'm not, I don't know.
No, you're not. Talk to me like I'm a piece of shit.
Well, you make me talk to you. I never want to hear from you again in my life.
You don't want to speak or hear from me again? Because I want to go home.
Whoo, baby. So Sean basically lays it out and he says he does not feel like things are going anywhere. Tegan tries to chime in and said, well, you haven't shown me anything. And I'm like, Tegan, shut the hell up. Yeah, I hate the fact that Tegan is making me defend this man. Shut up, girl. Like, damn. Let the man get a sentence out before he can even finish his sentence. Well, you didn't show me anything. He keeps going that he's dropped everything and he's really, really tried, but he's not seeing anything from her. Now, she admits that, you know, she keeps trying to interject and be like, well, you haven't shown me anything. You haven't shown me anything, Sean. Well, Sean, you know, you do this, Sean. You do this, Sean. You do that, Sean. And eventually Sean is like, you know what? I'm gonna be honest. I just don't feel like we're going anywhere here with this. I don't think it's happening. Tegan eventually admits that she's not interested. She straight up says she's not interested in this. She doesn't want to work on this. She's clearly on fire. She's clearly fuming. And she's like, well, maybe you made me feel this way. Maybe you made me feel this disinterest, bruh. Like, I was like, all right, enough is enough. So at this point, they realize it is not going to work. Sean realizes it's time to go home.
And you've got to do what it is that's going to make you happier in the long run. And I just want to be happy.
Tegan does not want him. There is nothing here. There is no point in continuing this onward. So yeah, at that point, Sean goes to tell the whole rest of the house that he is about to go home. He goes into the room. He's telling all the guys and everything that he's going to go home. He's done. He's done. Meanwhile, Biggs is asking the guys, do you think that Rebecca's going to get over it? I'm like, Biggs, you sweet summer child, Biggs. Not you not knowing that your girl is completely over with someone else. Andre says, well, she wouldn't be here if she didn't. So Craig and Rebecca. Craig.
I understand where I'm coming from.
I do. Because obviously the reason coming in here was to try and
Craig's relationship, I don't really see it progressing. And you know, I think everyone knows to get over somebody, you got to get on.
And Rebecca. So they sit down and they both say, we know how we feel. We know that there's something here. We know that there's something there. For Rebecca, she says that she does not want to feel like an option. She does not want to feel like she is one of many choices. And at this point, she thinks that Craig is trying to play it safe because he wants to be the good guy, but in reality, he wants to go for her. Yeah, you heard me correctly. This woman literally told Craig, I know you want me. You just want to play the good guy and try to make it work with Jazz. Rebecca, are you good, sis? Is this woman okay? Rebecca, you are on a show for cheaters. You are trying to take another woman's man. Oh, child, you know, oh my God. If y'all know what I want to say it so bad. I want to say it so bad. What are we doing? What are we doing? So Craig says, you know, look, I am here for Jazz and I really do want to try to make it work with Jazz. That is my main priority. I think you're wonderful. I think that you're amazing. And at least least in my eyes, yes. Was Craig being flirty? Absolutely. Was Craig interested in her? Yes. But when it came to this point of Rebecca essentially saying, hey, you better pick me and tell me you want me, or that's it, I think Craig realized, yeah, this ain't it. This ain't it. This is absolutely not it. Because I feel like Craig was definitely more like, but Rebecca essentially gives an ultimatum and says, is it me or not? And I was like, girl, are you good? Are you good? Rebecca, I don't like Rebecca. I do not like Rebecca. I don't like her demeanor. I don't like her attitude. And I don't know what she thinks she's doing right now, but it's weird. If you don't like your man, go find you another black man somewhere else, sis. Because I don't know what this all is. But that ain't it. No. And then the nerve, the absolute gall and ego to think that he owes you a decision on whether or not you're his choice. The fact that she felt like she could go up to Craig and say, you better tell me that you pick me because I don't want to be an option. Girl, what are you talking about? Even Craig was like, okay, I mean, I like you, but why would I give up everything I have with Jazz for somebody that I don't even know? How do I know that this is not a fling? Oh, baby. I was like, I know this ain't doing all this right now. Girl, you could go find you another black man somewhere in the UK. You don't have to be doing this here. So we jump into episode 6 on this cliffhanger of Rebecca asking Craig, am I worth the risk? Am I worth the risk? Girl, go home. Go home. Craig says at the end of the day, he came for Jazz. That's his primary focus. He's not going to make any mistakes. He's not going to do this. Essentially, Craig, whatever it is, whether, like I said, he realized, I was just flirting with her. I wasn't really feeling her like that. Like this crazy work for Rebecca to be going up to this man, trying to get him to leave with her. That is crazy work. I don't know. That is one of the most craziest things I feel like I've seen on one of these shows. Especially considering the premise of this show. And I feel like Craig was like, oh shoot, I wasn't feeling her like that. I was just trying to flirt. She cute, but I wasn't trying to do all that. I wasn't trying to do all that. Rebecca says that the flirty banter obviously meant something. So it's crazy for him to try to pretend that meant nothing. I'm like, girl, get over it. Hey, get over it. He's a guy that lacks self-control. He's a cheater. He's a cheater. He sees a cute girl and he flirts with her. It does not mean he wants to be in a relationship with you. I don't know. Rebecca, go see the lady, girl. Go see the lady, because I feel like something ain't added up there. Rebecca definitely has a clingy attachment style or whatever it's called. I don't know, because go see the lady. You cannot tell me that you thought that this man wanted to be in a genuine relationship with you. I just don't know what's going on there. Eventually, Kieran, though, comes to sit down with them and kind of breaks up this whole little thing that they got going on. So, Olivia and Liam. Today, they are going to be seeing Olivia's friend Celine.
Groveling.
Your first reaction is not always like showing your emotion.
And when it comes to relationships, Celine, I do think that you're not really the one to be giving me advice.
Okay, Liam.
Well, your track history is not the best, mate. So
is it not?
Celine is the friend that told Olivia about the cheating. So as you can imagine, she and Liam are on pretty tense terms. And then Liam's sister is also going to be there. So first and foremost, Liam admits to everything at the table, the cheating allegations, everything. It was all true. He narrates that he has apologized. He's groveled. He's thought about it. He uses the word groveled like 5 times in this conversation. I'm like, when you learn a new word and you can't stop saying it, how many times you gonna say you groveled, Liam? We get it. So Celine basically says, okay, so what happens if something else comes out? Liam starts to flip the story and say, Celine, you don't have the best reputation with people. Who are you to be talking about my relationship when you don't have the best reputation? And they don't go fully in depth into what he meant. It seems to be implied that she also has cheated, but they don't say flat out what happened. At the end of the day, Celine really does not trust Liam, and they definitely do not get along. So they go on to have a one-on-one, and Celine straight up tells Olivia, I am never speaking to him again. I am not doing that because he cheated, he lied to you, he manipulated you, he did all of this, and now he's trying to come back and pretend like he's doing all of this, and he's perfect and he's great. So they end off on really, really bad terms after the talk. For Liam, he's telling his sister that there will always be people like Celine who have terrible relationships and they talk trash about everybody. This whole thing goes very badly. It goes very, very badly. They do not come to any form of a consensus with things. So Biggs and Rebecca decided that now, because Craig essentially rejected her, she's gonna be extra flirty with Biggs. She's being mad loud.
Me glasses, man! Me and Rebecca were making progress. Before she could have looked at me, but now I'm coming
out. He's across the room. She's like, oh my God. As Craig is sitting on the other side, I'm like, girl, go see the lady. Rebecca's a lunatic. I'm sorry. She is a lunatic. She gives me, I will slash your tires vibes. She really does. Cause I don't know what's wrong with this girl. So Jazz and Craig, they are also talking, and for Craig, he just says, I don't want a toxic life. I just want things to be chill. I want to get married. I see a world with her. He's like, so she's like, can you see that with me? And he's like, yeah, I could definitely see that with you. I wouldn't be here if I did it. And I'm like, Craig, now, I will give you credit where credit is due that you didn't really fall for Rebecca's trap. But let's not pretend that you were not flirting with her, okay? You were definitely flirting with her, and you just kind of edited it when she thought that you wanted to be in a legit relationship with her. Now, Jazz says that it is great to hear that they are aligned on certain things because she hasn't really gotten a good grasp on whether or not Craig feels like they're making any progress. So it's good to feel like they both feel that there's some progress being made. So Lucia and Connor, they are with Lucia's sister and Connor's friend.
I can't meet them. I'm walking.
I know, but are you strong enough to do that yourself?
Yeah. I've literally...
Because how many...
It was shit, so not convinced with what me and Lucia's like trying to make it work or what?
It's not. Like going on and off for years, bro.
Basically, they both start to talk about how they've apologized to each other. They've gotten to a place where they realize they want to build this and work on it outside of it. Lucia's sister is not buying it whatsoever. She's like, how do you know that this is legit, Lucia? Because Connor has sold you the dream multiple times and then he's lied to you. So they go to have their one-on-ones and Lucia's sister is straight up like, I don't really know what makes you believe that all of a sudden he's changed. There hasn't really been anything that has indicated that he wanted to be with you. And remember what he did to you in the first place. In the past 5 years, he's hurt you so badly. Connor's friend is like, bro, no offense, but like, you said you wanted her, you want the dream with her, you wanted to move in with her, you have all these conversations about settling down, and the next weekend you were cheating. Even his own friend calls him out and is like, you said you wanted all of this, and then that same weekend you were out in these streets. So both people are like, Connor, what makes you believe that you are not gonna go back to that old lifestyle? And as you know, later on, Lucia done spiraled about this whole thing. Back at home, Steph and Olivia are talking, and Steph is talking a lot about how the conversation went with Olivia's friend. Olivia says that she really, really did not appreciate the way that Liam handled her friend, and she does not approve of her friend talking to her, him talking to her friend in that way. So Liam and Dan, he says that he should not have let his anger get this far, and he should not have had to bring up her friend's past relationship experiences or the way she is in order to get his point across. And it's like, yeah, Liam, how many times do you just blow up? And just because someone else did something bad does not negate the fact that you also did bad things. Anyway. So Connor comes back from the friend visit pretty unsure. He It is very clear that what his friend said, what Lucia's sister said, it's very clear that everything is kind of getting to him, and he is starting to second guess whether or not he actually wants to work on things with Lucia. And again, I think this is the problem, is that you got cold feet the first time, you were unsure if you wanted to be at this space. What has changed to all of a sudden make you be like, I definitely want to be with her. I 100% want to be in there. There has to be some kind of change or some kind of talk or some kind of uncovering of those feelings. So Dan says that he realized progress in Connor, but now he's sort of backtracking with everything. So Craig and Jazz. Craig is in the bedroom and Rebecca is trying to help him find a shirt, and Jazz walks in, and it's just awkward because, again, Rebecca went so hard trying to get Craig. Craig was kind of like, and you could definitely tell that Jazz is starting to kind of pick up that something weird is going on. So Craig tells Jazz, excuse me, that Rebecca's been really flirty lately, that he's been nice to her and whatnot, but she's kind of taken it to the next level and she's been all over him. And I'm like, Craig, don't start with me. Yes, you rejected her, but let's not pretend that flirting doesn't take two. So again, there's this question with Jazz. Can I trust him? Can I trust him? What is going on? So Liam and Rebecca, they have a quick talk, and Liam does apologize for the way that he handled Celine, the way that he acted towards her, and they seem to be good. Now, Andre and Steph, he tells her that he loves her. She also says it back. So the two of them, they're essentially back in a relationship now. And again, gave my thoughts earlier in the video on these two. So Rebecca and Dan. Rebecca says that she fancies Craig. She fancies Craig, but at this point she really cannot be in this silent triangle where it's very, very clear that something is there, but it's just awkward between everybody involved.
Of course I fancy Craig, I've said it.
Yeah.
And I'll say it again. I fancy Craig. I just think Craig's afraid.
I think he's afraid to look like the bad guy.
Then I'm like, girl, go see the lady. This man was just flirting with you for fun. He doesn't want to be in a relationship with you. You have feelings for him. You felt for him off the flirting. And that's not to say he's not in the wrong, but it's very clear, girl, that I don't know, maybe you're in a vulnerable state right now or something. She also mentioned earlier in the show that she has issues with self-esteem and issues with feeling herself. And I don't know, maybe she's just in a vulnerable state right now because, girl, he don't like you like that. And you're doing a lot trying to get this man to go away from his girlfriend that he's trying to prove himself to be with you. Are you okay? So Lucia and Connor essentially goes up to Lucia and is like, I'm not gonna lie, after the friends chat, I kind of realized this is not gonna work.
Then what are you asking that for?
I don't want to be with someone who's hesitant about me. If it was the other way around, I was like, I don't really know if I want to be with you, you'd be like, what?
Lucia essentially begs Connor and is like, what? What do you mean? I want someone who's going to try with me. I want someone who's going to be there with me. I want somebody who's really going to be in this. And Connor's like, I just don't know. I'm not sure. She's like, I want someone who's going to be all in. And I'm like, I feel like this is their cycle where Connor will try to break it off with her. And then Lucia will essentially beg for him back. And he'll kind of be like, oh, okay. Because I feel like that's how this conversation sort of ended. He went in saying, I don't think this is for me. By the end of it, it's more like, okay, we'll see where this is gonna go type thing. So Jazz and Craig, they are cuddling. Rebecca walks on by. Rebecca tells Biggs in the bed that she does not see it as a romantic relationship.
But what does that mean?
I just don't see it becoming a romantic relationship again.
Essentially says, I don't see where it's going. And Biggs at first is kind of like, what? Like, you don't, she's like, I just don't think it's gonna get there. He's like, okay, so what can I do to make this work, essentially? Biggs is not hearing it. Biggs is on his, I'm gonna do whatever it is. I'm gonna keep trying no matter what. But Rebecca says that she does not see herself getting past it. Now, Craig in the confessional says, hey, the best relationships start with a friendship. And Rebecca is amazing, but he does not see himself throwing away an amazing opportunity with Jazz. So for Craig, he does know that he needs to pull Rebecca for a conversation.
you just demand him to come?
But couldn't imagine throwing.
Yeah, this is
what you wanted, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's your feeling?
Thinking on that.
And he finds her very attractive. He finds her great. But again, he just doesn't know that he can throw away that relationship. So Rebecca is like, okay, if there was no Biggs and there was no Jazz, where would this be? And he's like, oh, it's a no-brainer. And she's like, okay, and it's a no-brainer for me. So that obviously means something. But again, you could tell Rebecca is the one really trying to push for this. While Craig is more like, okay, but I'm going to be honest, I can't really commit to anything without knowing where things are going to go with Jazz. I just simply can't. So I see you and I hear you, but I just don't think that I can do that. And again, Rebecca is the one that is heavily, heavily pushing for all of this. And once again, Craig is like, no. Essentially, no. So the next morning, he tells Jazz that he feels like he has really, really good banter, Craig, with Rebecca. But at this point, she has gotten too flirty. He lets her know, though, that he nipped it in the bud last night. He told her, hey, this is not going to be anything. I'm here to commit to Jazz. And I'm like, he's telling the truth. And as I said, I think for Craig, there was never any intention of building something more serious with Rebecca. So I think for him, it was very easy to be like, yeah, nah. But I do think that he's still leaving out the fact that he was flirty. Okay, he was definitely flirting. Jazz is very, very happy that this happened and thinks it is incredibly disrespectful that Rebecca would try to go for her man. And I do agree with that. I think with the premise of this show and what they're meant to do, it is asinine and unhinged, diabolical, in my opinion, to try to coerce this man to cheat on his girlfriend that he's trying to prove not to cheat. And of course, I get it. It's his decision. At the end of the day, if he chooses to cheat, it's on him. Yes, yes, yes. But it is still diabolical. It's diabolical when you can't even look at your man Biggs because of the fact that he cheated on you. Ooh, girl. So Connor and Lucia, they continue from yesterday. He says that he wanted to give his honest feelings on everything. Lucia claims that, you know, again, you said it wasn't going to work out outside of here. So what is that? He's like, I did not say that. And he starts to feel like Lucia is pushing him away. And I think this is what happens, is that Connor will admit some apprehension. Lucia will then put a wall up, and then they get into this space where it's kind of like a circle for the two of them. Dan and Connor notice that Dan notices that Connor just isn't that into Lucia, and he wants to just be a better guy. So he's essentially just here to prove that he's not the guy he was before, but he's not really into Lucia. And I can agree with that. I do think that's the case. So Rebecca, other Rebecca, is like, why is Dan always up in everybody else's business? He's always helping everybody else. He's always talking to everyone. Like I said, he thinks he is camp counselor, okay? He is up in everybody's relationships, but he doesn't really talk to me. So Rebecca does try to approach that a little bit in the conversation at breakfast.
The house, you know what I'm saying? This is the issue. I'm not having a go at you and don't get, this is body language.
No, I know.
I'm just trying to help.
Dan says, well, I mean, I don't know. I just felt like Connor really needed some help this morning, so I tried to help him. Rebecca's like, yeah, but you do that with everyone. You think everyone needs help and you want to help them. And I think it is great to care for others and to want to be there for others. But the point is that you are here to work on your own relationship. And we do barely see Dan and Rebecca talking. So I could definitely understand. It's like, why are you so fixated on everyone else's relationships? And you can give them all the advice in the world, but you can't really have the deep conversations that you need to have with your girlfriend. So meanwhile, Biggs and Rebecca, excuse me, Biggs and Rebecca, he's giving her a massage. He's talking about how, oh my God, I think she's holding back because she doesn't want it to seem easy to get back together with me. She doesn't want it to seem like it was easy for her to take me back. And I'm like, Biggs, if only you knew that she's literally begging another man to be with her. Ooh, child. But Steph and Andre, they are fully in love. They are saying, I love you. He says she's forever his baby girl. I mean, like I said, these two are back in a relationship. And now we are going to go to the reckoning room. However, I'm going to save it for the next set of recaps because I don't want to. They always end on a cliffhanger, and I don't like ending on a cliffhanger in the video. So if you made it to this point of the video, that means you like the video. So I would greatly appreciate it if you would consider supporting me and supporting the channel by liking, sharing, commenting, and subscribing. It helps to get the videos out there, and it inspires me to keep creating. I have a channel membership. It is just $1 a month, and it really does help to support the channel that extra mile to continue bringing you guys this content, to continue bringing new content. So thank you again to my members. Y'all are absolutely the best, and I will talk to you guys in the next set of videos. Bye.